If you notice the first word of Romans 2, verse 1, it is therefore. That word, by its nature, connects what is said afterwards to what is said immediately before. We'll look at that in just a moment. It says, therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself, for thou that judgest doest the same things. When a man judges another man as a sinner, he is inexcusable because he does the same thing. Look with me at Romans 1, and we'll go to verse 29. This is the context of Romans 2, verse 1. We'll start in verse 29. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Man's nature is such that we often look at our fellow man and judge them. And we look at their sins and say, that's bad. That was wrong. You're guilty of that. What we often do is we are harsher in judging others than we are ourselves. Are we not? We're good at rationalizing our behavior. And so we view some sins that others do as more significant than the sins that we do. The point of Romans 2, verse 1, the reason man is inexcusable when he judges others is he condemns himself, and because it says, for thou that judgest doest the same things. Meaning there are things on that list in Romans 1 that we are guilty of, that man is guilty of. So we can look at our fellow man and look negatively toward him because he does things that we don't approve of. But do we also commit things on that list? And the answer is that we do. Romans 2 verse 1 says this, therefore thou art inexcusable. Get with me Romans 1 verse 20. Romans 1 verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power in Godhead. Now notice, so that they are without excuse. The way that man's nature works is we are very good at self-rationalization. Have you ever snapped at someone, said an unkind thing, you say, well, I'm sorry, I'm kind of feeling sick or feeling bad. Well, is that actually a legitimate reason to mistreat other people? It's not. It's a rationalization. It's an excuse. Romans 1:20 talks about man being without excuse because he has the knowledge of God. Romans 2 verse 1 further talks about man being inexcusable because here's what happens. When you judge others, when I judge someone else guilty, what I'm doing is I'm saying by an objective moral standard, what you did was wrong. And it may well have been. But when I do that, I'm acknowledging the existence of that standard, aren't I? And I'm inexcusable because what I would like to do privately is I'd like to rationalize and say, well, yeah, I did that, but here's why that's not so bad. Are we willing to make exceptions for ourselves that we aren't willing to make for others? That's how man's thinking works. Look with me at Romans chapter 2, verse 2. But we are sure that the judgment of God, notice this, is according to truth against them which commit such things. God doesn't judge on the basis of our rationalizations or excuses or self-justification. What does He judge on the basis of? On the basis of truth.